Charge A, 22 years equals 9 years now. Doesn't give you that mindset, lad. Liz Fallen saying I've none left. I've none what left, mate? Liz? So years ago when I got my sentence, so in 2000, before 2005, you'd had particular sentences. After 2005, it all went mad. So for my offence in 2004, you can get a discretionary life or a long determinate sentence. For the same offence, a year later, you're getting a 30 rec. No ifs or buts. So when I got my sentence, I got 18 years. So went in custody in 2004 and come out in 2016, 12 years. And come out in 2016, 12 years later. I'd done 12 years off me 18. And then I got out and had 1 month licence for every year. That was the old law. So if you got 10 years pre-2005 and you never got parole, you'd do an 8 off it. Yeah, you'd do 8 years off it, or a 6 or something, or a 7 or something. But then when you got out of it, you'd have 10 months licence. When it went past 2005, now if you got a 10, you'd do 5, but then have 5-year licence. And that's when they abolished the 2 strikes and you're out and brought in the IPP sentence. After the Goodyear ruling, they called it. The 2005 Goodyear rulings. And the whole sentencing plan changed. Like they're going to do again in the next week or something. They're going to completely change. They're going to bring a new type of IPP in. So they've abolished the old IPP, so they abolished the 2 strikes and you're out, and there's still lads in jail off the 2 strikes and you're out law. No luck of getting out. They replaced the 2 strikes and you're out law with the IPP, and they've abolished it like they did the 2 strikes, and you've got lads in the system that will never get out. You'll get some that'll get out, and you'll get lads that will never ever get out. When they bring a new set of laws in the next week for the justice bill and all this, they're going to bring a new type of IPP in, and you're going to get exactly the same set of circumstances. Judges haven't got a clue, giving lads the sentences that shouldn't have got them, and they're killing themselves 10 years later in the system. Just like they are on the 2 strikes, just like they are on the IPPs. I think the law's changed again on the sentences, where now if you get a 12, you'll do an 8. I think that's the way it is now. It's gone back to the way it used to be a little bit. So if you get a 20, you'll do a 14. It's madness, mate. When you think about 75% of the lads in prison are reoffending. That makes sense? So if you look at Walton Prison, right, say you've got 1,000 prisoners in Walton. Walton Prison now, it holds so many prisoners, but I'll just say 1,000, right? 750 inmates of them thousands are reoffenders. In and out, 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 in and out. Since they were 17, they're now 40s, 45s. And this is what I keep screaming at you. Once you go in, it's very hard to stop going back. Once your kid goes in at 16, he'll be in at 17. This will be him for the rest of his life, unless he breaks the cycle. And this is what I keep screaming at you. Don't start the cycle because it's difficult to break.
She was a clinical study.
15, you're getting a caution. 15, you're being dragged in the police station, you've had a warning. You've been to court, you've been given a warning. Heed the warning. Take the warning for what it is, because your next step is 10 or 15 years on a cycle of prison, drugs, relationship breakdown and violence. And at the end of it, traumaed up trying to fix yourself. That's the way it is. And this is why you young lads, you know what it's like. If you're listening to me and you've been in jail, you went back, didn't you? And then you went again, didn't you? And now it's still hard now. You're still taking risks, aren't you? What I keep trying to say to the young lads is don't even go there once. Don't go to prison once. Avoid the jail bait. Avoid your jail mate. Your mate can be jail bait. Do you understand what I mean? If you've got a mate and he's getting hounded by the feds and you're always with him, it's only going to be a matter of time before the feds are hounding you. And you're going to start going where he goes. So recognise jail bait, and it doesn't matter if it's your mate. It doesn't matter if it's your friend. If you can see him breaking the law, you know he's jail bait. If you're breaking the law with him, you're jail bait with him. You know, they've only got to come in and throw a hook in once and they've got you. And once they've got you on that hook, that's it, you're in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Swear it at all costs. Choose your life, not a knife. Trust me. There's loads that haven't listened. There's loads that haven't listened to me, mate, and they're sat in prison cells now. They were listening to me when they're out, but they're not taking it on. There's a difference with listening and acting on what you listen to. Do you understand what I mean? So if I sit here and say, look, you want to lose weight, you're dying to lose weight, okay, stop drinking fizzy drinks, stop drinking lager, only drink water, milk, and stop eating at 8 o'clock every night. You lose weight. Now you listen to it and won't try it, but then you'll criticise the advice later and you haven't even tried to use it. So there's listening and then there's acting on it, isn't it? Yes, Andy. Sarah. Michelle. Carolina Cab, nice one, mate. I take in every word you say, says Tessa. But take it in and then evaluate it. I might get shit wrong, you might know better. It's like a book. You don't take a book as truth, regardless of what it is, whether it's a Quran, a Bible, a dictionary, philosophy, whatever. You take it on board and you evaluate it. Does it hold up? Does it sound right? Does it make logical sense to you, this? Don't just read and go, that must be fact, because it came from that school. Question it. Question everything, actually. Everything and everyone. Question it. Don't be scared, you've got to understand what's at risk here. Question it. It's alright to question. It's like that I keep on saying, always judge by the book. Always judge the book. Oh, don't judge the book by its cover. Make sure you judge that book by its cover. You can look at every cover of every book you come across, trust me. Honest to God, there's more clues on the cover than what there is on the inside, mate. I'm telling you now. The energy doesn't lie, says Scouse 4200. I know, but what I mean by this, and this is what qualifications have done. This is what the qualifications have done to everyone, basically. So look, you don't judge the book by its cover no more, do you? For example, that athletic kid there, fit as been in multiple gyms all in life, but he hasn't got a qualification. So you're not taking his advice. Lad ass there smoking 20 bifters a day, but because he went to college and got his fitness level 2 and his instructor's level 2, you're taking his advice. Look at the fit of him. Look at the state of him. That's why you should be judging the book by its cover. If you've got a helmet trying to tell you how to lose weight and get athletic and be fit and strong and healthy, but he's sat there looking like a donut, smoking bifters and drinking coffee, well then, hey, don't expect to get a fickle working. So always judge the book by its cover. And always recognise the faults on the cover. So look, you'll have a smackhead here, or let me just phrase it right, you'll have a heroin addict, right? Not a tooth in his mouth. So you'll have a heroin addict here, right? No teeth in his mouth, no decent tan, no decent clothes on. You can judge by looking at his cover that he's can't you? You can see it, can't you, just by looking at it. It's fucked, innit? Now, you'd have the same smackhead, put him in Spain, got him a decent rig out, got him some false teeth from Turkey and banged a cap on head. It's exactly the same person, he's just decorated himself. Now he doesn't look as rough as, so he's not giving himself away as much. But if you look at the cover long enough, you'll see it's still the same piece of shit. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Does that make sense to you? Always judge the book by its cover, mate. It gives you the first. That's like saying a car's coming to hit you, but don't look at the reg. That's what it's saying. It's like this woman's coming to hit you, but don't look at her face. Oh, it's going to go off on that side, all them immigrants. They've got used to having water every day. Now they're making noises like the crows and shit. That's what them immigrants do, don't they? Start acting like birds and that, don't they? So what do you reckon about the 400 on boats that arrived today? Well, let's just say 400 on that boat. The minute they land and get in touch with a solicitor, let's say every one of them get, in the first payment, about 3 grand. So if you do the maths, 3 grand, 10 of them is 30 grand. 10 of them is 30 grand. 100 of them is 300,000. So just that one boat with 400 is around £1.2 million for the first payment. That's without the interpreters. That's without the clothing, the phones, the hotels. This is them on PIP because they come from traumatic places of war. They can't sleep. They've got nightmares. So every single one of them are getting the benefits at the top of the level, which is PIP. They're all getting cars on fake licenses. So they're coming over with Nigerian licenses and all these fake licenses from their part of the world and getting them processed here and being able to get cars off the DVLA because they're physically hooked and they can't go onto public transport. That's why you're seeing all these weird people in boss cars. DVLA, mobility. The doctors and the people that are doing the assessments for them are getting all like... You see the amount of Birmingham lads, Pakistani lads and Asian lads that are flying around in cars off the mobility because they've got ADHD. They're flying around in Mercs, Golfs, Audis, Seat Turbos because they've got ADHD. When in reality, it's the legal teams, the Asian legal teams who know what to do with the paperwork, doctoring all the paperwork, getting full amount of pip. So for example, in our house, in our white British house, where none of us work and we're all a bit mum's sick and all this, mum struggles to get pip. We struggle to get job seekers allowance. You see that house there with 8 Pakistani kids in it? The ma and the da's got pip. 4 of the kids have got pip. 2 of the kids have got mobility cars. I'm not lying. It's the way it is in all their houses. Every single one of their houses, they're getting top band benefits. The white English working British people are getting the lowest band of benefits you can get put on. And when you try and get put on pip, you're off. Why? Because of your name. Because your name's not Arabic. Fact. The way they've been using this DEI on recruiting police, on job places, on this, that and the other. Don't think for 1 minute it hasn't been getting used when it comes to benefits and access to certain benefits. And when you've got Labour backtracking on certain benefits, they're not backtracking on the benefits that we get. They're backtracking on the PIP benefits. Why? Because 80% of the Pakistani community that can't speak English are on PIP and they're their vote. And that's the only reason why they've done that and backtracked on that particular benefit. Not for our people, for their people. It's the way it is. This isn't hating, that's just the way it's been for the last 20 years where they're trying to make this country Islamic. Why do they want to make this country Islamic? Because they're easier controlled than Christians. They can't control us like a herd of sheep like they can Muslims. They can do what they want with Muslims, push them anywhere they want, and they'll all do it. The white English communities are rebelling and have been for decades now. They need a new control mechanism, and that's where Islam comes into it. They can't control our communities the way they can control the Islamic communities. Fact. That's just the way it is. That's fact, that. And that's why they want most of it, because they can control Islam. They can't control Christianity no more. That's why all the churches are empty. They can control Islam. That's why all the mosques are full. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And that's not hating. That's just the way it is. Do you think Ireland will ever be back to normal, says MMC? I don't know what normal's like over there, mate. But until both sides and both sets of Irish men start realising what's going on with the girls. Look, you need to look at what's been happening here, because it's been happening there. So when we've got these grooming gangs spanning back to the 80s, mate, and they're abusing all our girls, don't think you haven't got them over there. When you've got that corner shop that sprouted up early 90s, don't think he hasn't been at the bollocks. When you've got that taxi rank with all them in it, don't think above that gaff shit hasn't been happening. Do you understand what I'm saying? That kebab house at the bottom there, don't think for 1 minute shit has not been going on for generations of young girls in Ireland, because it definitely has. It's just not being exposed yet. But it definitely will do. Definitely. And unless you Irishmen put your difficulties aside for this common purpose, you've lost everything. And you haven't just lost it you've lost it for all of us. We mightn't speak Irish, but the blood that exists within us is Irish. I've been looking at Ireland since I was a kid. It's not nice what's going on. In this country, you know, before any other type of person takes over this country, the Irish will. Trust me. We already run it, you just don't realise it. You see, most of the infrastructure in this country, your roads, your railways, it's Irish made that. You see most of the prominent buildings that you still see now, Irish put them up. The whole country's more Irish than it'll ever be English, ever. So when you've got all these Pakistanis and all these Indians and all these Nigerians and all these people thinking they're going to take over this country, cough. Because when the Irish switch on, the Irish switch on. And that's what needs to happen. The Irish need to switch on sooner than later. I mean the real Irish people. The real Irish people are not your cokeheads and your potheads. There's the water. So, you got to understand just how dangerous and advanced the Irish are. I know, mate. He was buzzing, opened his door and screamed it down the landing. Hey, the water's back on. So if you think about it, look, do you know what improvised explosive devices, IED, the first ever one in the whole world, was made by the Irish. So what the Irish done years and years and years ago is, you know, Gaddafi. So the first IED to ever be used in the East was by Colonel Gaddafi. You know, the African leader who the Americans killed. Well, they went over years ago when Colonel Gaddafi was at war with a particular whoever, and the Republican army's gone over and taught Colonel Gaddafi's soldiers how to make and create IEDs. What did he give them in return? All sorts. All sorts, mate. Basically, the IRA trained Colonel Gaddafi's forces to fight militias. This is all fact, lah. Where do you get this info from? Just things I've read over the years when I was like, just things I've read. As I say, I've been watching Ireland since I was a kid, mate. Always had that fantasy of being like Jerry Adams. But I always thought the whole of Ireland was like that. And it was at one point, until some of them got switched. But when I was growing up, I always thought the Troubles was the whole of Ireland against the establishment. Yes, Frankie. Do you have Irish blood in you? Of course I do, mate. Majority of Liverpool have got Irish blood, mate. My nan and granddad on that side was Irish and Scottish. And then my nan and granddad on that side were both Irish, southern and northern. Your name is Irish. Yeah, but me nan's name, Irish name, is Woods. And my granddad's name was Woodford. The G name I've got, I think that comes from my Scottish granddad. That's my dad's name, G. My ma's name's Woodford. We all come from Ireland, mate. All of us. Unless you're from the Bayesian Islands like Jamaica or them gaffs, you're Irish. Even if you're Scottish, you're probably Irish. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You know, you Scottish, you Welsh, you're probably more Irish than you realise. All of us, mate, we all come from that motherland. Just like slaves. That's how we started over here, like slaves. All your granddads and nanas and all that getting shipped over to work in mad gaffs and do mad shit. And anyway, be proud of where you've come from. And if any try and take your land, you stand your ground. Don't let them, do you? Defo, mate. There's only one force around this world, and it's Irish. There's only one real dominant bloodline right round the world, and it's Irish. Simple as that. Look how powerful the Irish bloodline is. Look where it spans. Look where it starts, that little island there, and look how far reaching it's been. Right round the world, mate. We're all connected, whether we like it or not. Doesn't matter if you're from Kilkenny and you're from Gonadal. You're all connected through blood. All of us are. And the sooner we realise that, the better. Why? Because the only difference with us that don't realise it and them that realise it, it's the difference. Look at them rich bloodlines and then look at our poor bloodlines. Why are we poor when our family's massive? Why are we poor when our family is huge? Why are they rich when their family is not even the size of our family? And you know what I was thinking today? We hear all these things about them 400-500 women because they weren't married. They were pregnant, and because they weren't married, the British government forced them into hospitals to abort the children and kill the children on them because they weren't married. Not going far, this isn't that far back. The blood infection, Hillsborough, the post office thing, and all the other Harold Shipman, and all the other Jimmy Saviles, and all the other mad shit that we've been going through, and the excuse they give us. The previous government left us in a mess. The previous government left us in a mess. We're here to fix it. The previous government left us in a mess. We're here to fix it. The government. Why? Because that king and his family have oversaw the last 70 or 80 years in this country. And when them 400 women were getting forced into hospitals and getting their kids killed because they weren't married, it was under King's orders. And when all this other shit has gone on in the last 50, 60 years, it's been under the King's orders, the governments. The king knew about the Hillsborough cover-up. Do you understand? The king knows about the Glenfell Towers. The king knows about Jimmy Savile. The king knows about the blood poisoning in the hospitals ages ago and they still haven't been paid compensation. Compensation. This is all families watch, your governments. All these deaths, all these wars, all these shit, all these conflicts. Oh, it's the governments. Fuck the governments. It's the royal families in the area. It's their responsibility. It's their watch. It's their country. Everything this country gets up to, everything that goes wrong in this country, they are well and truly in the know about. So how are they still sat in them big lovely castles when we've had close to 1 million girls abused by Pakistani husbands in this country? And they know about it. And they've done all about it. And this isn't the first thing that they turn a blind eye to. You know, there was close to 1 million kids in the care system that have been abused by that lot. Girls and boys. Still to this day. And guess what? The king knows all about it. So why isn't he held for account? Why do we keep on going on about dickhead like Keir Starmer, who are absolutely fall when it comes to big decisions? So unless your target is fight, you're never going to succeed. Are you? If you're targeting the shithead on the bike, you're never going to get nowhere, are you? If you're on your estate and you've got difficulties with the people that run the gaff, are you going to start targeting the shitheads on the pedal bikes, or are you going to start going for the kid in the £1 million house who pays the kids on the pedal bikes? Exactly. So when you get to that page about going for the castles instead of the servants' quarters, give me a shout. While you're focusing on number 10, while you're focusing on them daft dickhead politicians, you're never going to solve nothing. You need to be focusing on the king and his castle and his merry men. And when you're holding protests, instead of protesting outside number 10, go to their castles and do it. And trust me, you'll realise just how nasty and brutal these are the minute you step onto their face. The minute you step on their lawn, you will see exactly what type of dictator controls us. Telling you, mate, honest to God. Hold everyone else responsible but the thing. Hold everyone else's family responsible for all the atrocities, all the NHS problems, all the suicides, all the kids that are killed, all the immigrants. Let's just hold every other family responsible, but not the family that own the country. Not the family that open the gates to the country and let people come in. Do you think the king doesn't know all these immigrants are flowing through? He's bought the bastards. You just don't realise it. If you sit there and think the royal family don't know what's happening with these immigrants, let me tell you how the slave trade works. You'll have a slave master and he'll buy millions of slaves off another slave master. And what you've just witnessed, all this coming through, are slaves. The king's bought them. Doesn't matter how they're getting in, they're the king's now. The minute they land on this soil, they are the subject of the king, just like we are. We're subjects of the king. It's what we're known as. Every immigrant that comes in becomes a slave for the king that we're slaves to. It's as simple as that. That's how it is. And we can't do shit about it. Why? Because we're all divided, mate. We're all divided. And I can sit there and think about, yes Leah, I can sit there and going out and being a martyr and da-da-da-da-da-da. But why should I? You know, why should it be me, the first one that goes off and sets the foal? Seen how you've all treated me, mate. Why should I be the hero and out and do it? You can't look after your own kids and your own women. You're pieces of shit anyway. King doesn't get involved in this immigration situation. He just leaves it. No, he does. Are you mad? If Keir Starmer could put a stop to this now, he would. He's getting told not to. Doesn't matter if it's ruining your reputation. Doesn't matter if it's ruining your work history. Do as you're told and shut up. And that's what you've got there now. He's just letting them in, lying to you all because he's being told. Don't give a shit. We need to get a specific number in it. And once we've reached that number, then we'll shut shop. That number's dead close, and that's why you've seen Starmer come out this morning and do that shit speech. Because they've probably had an order for 2 million slaves. Or they've had an order for 1.5 million slaves, and you've only had 1.4 immigrants come through. You've still got another 100,000 to come through. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Once they've reached that particular number, bang, they'll shut shop. They will. Defo. And that's just what it is. You know, it is what it is. The king knows how many immigrants are coming through. Why? Because there is slaves. It's a slave trade. It's just done different, depending where you are in the world. In the Western world, we're all economic slaves. Okay? When you've got 1 million Indians coming here to get put in call centres and to get put in these mad jobs and shit, 'cause that's why they're being placed here, to get put into these positions of work. They're economic slaves. It's all they are. Economic slave trade. It's exactly what it is. Why ain't we? You're allies. What makes you think you're not a prisoner, Liz? What makes you think you're not a prisoner, Liz? You know, when you go into a prison, they've got warehouses in these prisons, and you will have hundreds of inmates working for £9 a week for things that are getting sold in your B&Q for £200. It's a slave trade in the system as well, in the prison system. So you'll have lads in the prison workshops, and they'll be getting £14 with a bonus, but then they'll get the £14 and they'll have something like £150 taken off them for the shittest telly in the world. And then before you know it, they've got like £4 left. The canteen within the prison is owned by Tony Blair and his people, and the prices are through the roof, extortionate prices. So for example, in a prison that's not private, you're probably spending £2.10 on a Radox. But then if you go to a private prison, the same Radox is £1. Fact, mate. Store money making schemes, store they are. Slave trade money making schemes. For prison to make money, what does it need? Needs inmates. What are inmates? Slaves. How do most prisons make money? By the workshops. You'll have Walton Prison with 400 prisoners in workshops making mad shit that they're selling to another prison. Honest to God, it's what it works, it's what it's like. So, in prison, for that prison to work, it needs to be filled with slaves. Okay? That big business down there, for that to work, it needs people to work in it. It needs slaves. That industry there, for that to function right, it needs slaves. We know that our slaves get agitated. We know that our slaves can get a little bit drunk and end up a little bit of a mess and get lost. So we need to keep our slaves controlled, conditioned, in a way where they're not falling off the path of work. So let's give them some sport to keep them distracted when they're not in work. No. So you know, years and years and years ago, when we go back to Latin, Greek, Rome, gods and goddesses, you had pure slaves. But to keep the half-rich slaves entertained, them slaves from back in the day are called gladiators these days. Mad, innit? Now we all inspire to be gladiators as men, when all them gladiators that were punching out of each other years ago were slaves. Fact, mate. So stop thinking you're not slaves and you're not in prison. Just accept it. It's hard to accept, innit? But you've got to accept it, mate. You're trapped in, you're going nowhere. The people around you are always going to be around you. The people that live on your estate, they're always going to live on your estate. Them kids that have gone to jail and got 20 years down the line, they'll be back on your estate. They're going nowhere. Yous go nowhere. We go nowhere until we pass through. This is the end of the chain. This is how you can go physically. The next step, spiritual. Do you understand? We're not going nowhere. We're all here as one. So why do you want to make it horrendous for everyone? Everyone that's in your area right now is still going to be in your area in 20, 30 years' time, regardless if people are being shot dead, regardless if houses are being kicked in, regardless if that ma's pregnant to this dad and all this shit. We're all going to still be here. We're all going to still feel what we get put through. So why do you want to create 16-year-old kids to go on to kill themselves, live in the same community and have the animosity spread amongst us all for decades and decades? We don't go nowhere. This is what you need to understand. A lot of the kids think, I need to get everything dead fast. You'll be surprised how long 20 years is. 20 years is 50 years. Trust me on that. You running out of 16, trying to be a millionaire by the time you're 18, you're going to fall up, you're going to crash, you're going to end up in a mess. Take your time. Where do you want to be when you're 28? Not where do you want to be when you're 19. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're 20, where do you want to be when you're 30? Don't try and be that when you're 22, because you'll never do it. You're up and everything will go wrong. Take your time. Do it slow. At the moment, loads of you are running, so you're falling. dead hard to get back on knees, full of scrapes in it. Take it slow, lad. If you do fall, it's less violent. If you do fall, it's less troublesome. There's less injuries when you're taking it slow. I got told some advice I've been told it a few times over the years by different people. And it's this. We both know we're running a marathon, Darren. All them softs are sprinting. Leave them. Let them fast ones go. Let them go, lad. Trust me on it. Let them all sprint. Let them all rush out. Let them all try and be what they're all trying to be. You just take your time, mate. It's like that image. You know the way you've got the snail and the rabbit, or the turtle and the rabbit, and the rabbit's always, but then the turtle just always passes them. It's that same thing. Take your time. You haven't got to be a world champion in a year.